once I got like just the space away from him by myself, it of course took longer, but I'm so proud of that's why I can like laugh. You know, it's a serious matter, but I can laugh because I spent so much time, you know, like wallowing, wondering, waiting, who's gonna save me? I have to take care of myself. And I'm so proud of who I am, because I would not have been this person without going through all of that.
Welcome to the OBM podcast. This is a platform where awareness, new perspectives, healing, and transparent conversations take place. Every mom has a motherhood journey that is unique, yet no mom is alone. So sit back, relax, open your minds, and steady your hearts to hear a mom's journey through motherhood.
Hey, sister friends, welcome to another episode of the OBM podcast. Today we have an awesome guest. Her name is Kristen. Y'all say hey to Kristen. Kristen, say hey to, hey girl.
How are y'all?
So I'm going to let Kristen share just a little bit about who she is, but I'm just going to give my little spiel real quick. I pretty much grew up, this is my god sister, y'all. So we pretty much grew up together until her and her family moved down to Florida. And then we were stuck here in Georgia. And then we didn't see each other that much unless she came to my grandmother's house. We had a lot of fun. But me and her brother, which is also my god brother, and her other brother, which is also my god brother, we all grew up together. So I'm excited to hear her motherhood journey, but I'm gonna stop talking and let y'all hear from Kristen. So Kristen, tell us a little bit about who you are.
All right, well, my name is Kristen. I went to FAM. I majored in psychology. Right now I teach and I do art, and I'm a mother.
Art, can you talk, first of all, I love you. FAM is all right. I just forgot. I don't know how I forgot that you went to FAM. I mean, you know,
I just slid on over there.
Go ahead over there. I mean, both of your parents definitely went to Cookman, but that's okay. It's okay. You're not, you know, you're not a traitor or anything. But
no,
it's fine. It's okay. But okay, so you went to FAM, which is honestly is a really good school, and then you are an artist. Please talk to us about this. Talk to us about
yeah, I kind of like I think reading with my mom, seeing pictures and books as a kid got me inspired me to want to do art, comics and stuff like that. So I kind of been like drawing and pretty much drawing my whole life, and I started painting recently. I just did something with a lot of Black art, a project with a lot of Black art in February, Transmuting Trauma. So you can check that out if you want.
Explain Transmuting Trauma. Why did you call it that?
Oh, because I was just so tired of seeing sad Black art. It's like we're always like, people like to see our art from the lens of pain, you know, like there are so many paintings and movies and, you know, rhythm and blues, you know, we always have to be so sad. So I just figured I would take a lot of famous, sad-ish Black paintings and make them, you know, like make a new version that's happier.
Okay, good. I'm gonna pause right here for people that want to see the art. Here it is right here.
Lovely.
Here it is. Yes. So if you want to check and if you're listening to the podcast, go to the YouTube video and see her art there. But also her information will be in the description as well, in the caption. So you'll be able to link up with she. When I first saw y'all, I was like, wait, you did this like with your bare hands? You did this? Like you didn't do anything else. So it's pretty amazing that the God-given gift that she has to really put things from your mind on paper to make a masterpiece. So good job, girl. It's really good. I gotta give me one. So I'm looking like, shoot, I know it's a lot of money because that junk looks amazing. So let me get my pennies together to make sure.
I'm gonna have it affordable for you. Some prints. Yes, okay. We're gonna do it affordable.
Oh yes, I forgot you did say that too. I forgot you did say
yes.
that. Yeah, yes. So she's just look.
I didn't want to open her.
It's cool. She is definitely what is it? growing in her business.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys support my sister here. We're excited to kind of hear your perspective of your motherhood journey. So I want to kind of give you the floor. Can you share how has your motherhood journey been? You can go from the beginning to now. You can go for wherever you want to start. Just go, just talk. Be free.
Okay. I think the biggest thing motherhood gave me was myself, because my life journey throughout life, I was always like looking for something outside of myself to validate myself. When I got older, it became like, love, like a lot of people. I was like, not, I wouldn't say like addicted to it, but it was just like a burning desire that I couldn't let go of. And I would know that I needed to stop and work on myself and stay to myself like intentionally. But I could just like, I don't know, like it was like squirrel. I was always getting distracted from that self-love journey. So I was in college. I met a guy. He went to FSU. He had a nice major, nice GPA. He studied. Everything seemed like it was going to work out just fine. And I think being young and like I'm a preacher's kid, so I didn't want to be on this like, I didn't want to have that burning desire, but I had it, and there was like guilt that came with the thing that I felt like I needed so bad. So I felt like when I got with my kid's father, because he sounded like we had, common goals in life, that I just attached myself to him faster than I should have. So we're dating, and everything was fine. And then eventually he started to show like, he was just very jealous and possessive, put it like that. And I was very honest and open, but it seemed like I couldn't be honest and open enough to soothe his insecurity. So the relationship went from us being like, like locked in to like, like it shifted. The dynamics completely shifted, and it became an abusive relationship. There are different kinds of abuse.
Right.
And I would say it was much more psychological. It was psychological warfare. It was spiritual warfare on top of like physical and verbal abuse. So in the situation, like back then, I used to let things happen to me. I was not like intentionally a victim, like I sought out things happening, but it's like I didn't have any fight in me. I don't know how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the situation was just like, escalating out of hand. In October of 2015, I literally fought every single day. And I'm the person, I didn't fight in the neighborhood. I wasn't fighting, getting suspended. That was not me. So it's like all my first fights. So yeah, it was like October, it was pretty bad. It got really bad. And I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for God to get me out of the situation. But I was also frozen in fear. So there was nothing I did for myself to get out of it. I just was like hoping something would happen. It was a lot that went into destroying me from like every level, like mentally, trying to like interfere with working. It was just like, it was a lot. I did laugh before because it's like, okay, so that was a really dark place. Of course, I was depressed. Nobody understood. Nobody cared. It's more common than I think I knew it was. So everybody's just figuring like, oh, you're in one of those kinds of relationships where you guys physically solve your problems, but that's not it. That's not the kind of person I am. That's not the relationship I wanted. I didn't want to be in that. Um, I reached out to women, a lot of women. Did I can say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I reached out to a lot of women because I just didn't know what to do. Women I was comfortable speaking with. I didn't just So the advice I kept getting over and over again was, once you get tired of it, you'll know what to do. And I couldn't understand that. I just couldn't, because it's almost like you're saying that I enjoy it, or part of me wants this to be happening, and that wasn't true. So I was like resentful because I felt really alone. He did a really good job of like isolating me. People talk about trauma bonding, and from like hearing it, you think it's like we both went through a traumatic experience that bonded us together. But it's like when your abuser is so skilled with like cutting off all of your friends and family, or like he has it to where you're scared to talk about, like you're in this cycle, you're learning what to do, what not to do, what the triggers are.
Yeah.
And appeasing your abuser because you want to have a normal day, not out of love or your desire to be in the situation, but it's like a survival thing, like getting caught up in that cycle and being like bonded to the person you hate the most.
Yeah.
And I was begging God to deliver me. I was like begging him, crying, pleading. I can remember at times, sometimes I'd be like crying and praying, and he'd be laughing. Like like I'm like weeping and pleading, and he's watching me and laughing. It was a lot. So of course, naturally, honestly, and being transparent, I started to resent God, because I'm like, how am I begging you for help? I understand I got myself in this situation, but you heard me. Like I said, I never do it again if you just get me out of here. I was like negotiating, please, I promise I will. I don't know what you want me to do. Just let me know. I'll do it. Just get me out of this situation.
Yeah.
So in March, instead of getting out of the situation, I found out I was pregnant. This caused me to move back home. A lot of other things. I could really talk all day. A lot of other things caused him to like move where I moved. We moved in together because he was like telling me his concern and his focus was the child, and a child growing up in a 2-parent household and waking up every day, like to the child, blah, blah, like convincing me. It was like a perfect storm, because there were other things going on in my life to where this sounded like a plausible, of course, this was not the right move. I have 2 kids. Spoiler alert. This was not the right move, but at the time it seemed like it was something I could work, because in my trauma bonding, I learned like, what the triggers are, what I should and should not do if I want a peaceful household. But the second go round showed me there's no way to, I can't dance hard enough. I can't tap dance my way out of being abused by someone, that sees me as this certain kind of person and feels like I deserve to be treated in this certain kind of way. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. And then there was times there were times, because I can't like lie. I'm not a dishonest person. So I was like, well, maybe if I'm more loving, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. And even if I did, there would have been something, So this time when I prayed again, I said, God, what are you doing? I felt like abandoned. I felt like he hated me or he was punishing me. But I was like, what did I do to deserve this? God, what are you doing? And then I heard so clearly, what are you doing?
Wow.
I heard it so clearly.
Yeah.
And I had to sit back and ask myself, what am I doing? I'm sitting here wearing the weight of single parent household, Black child, this and that. And all of this, or worrying about what people say. Like I said before, I'm a preacher's kid and I have this child, now these two children. I have to, at least because I'm unmarried, I have to at least present it like something that it's not, and trying so hard to keep up in a decent image, not even a great image, just a decent image, was like ruining my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pregnant with my son, and one weird day there was like several events that led to I'm gonna just leave it at my freedom. I was able to get out of the situation, get away from him, and have my son with my mother. And I just it's like I never got the time to like sit down and really conceptualize everything that I had been through. I never got a moment to really, I just had to keep going. I just had to keep going. And I used to be the kind of person where if I got depressed or I was in a rut, I like, I was in the rut. But now I have two babies. Like there is no week I get to just cry and lay in the bed. That's no longer a thing. So I had to learn how to like heal on the go. I just had to like figure out how to keep moving. Once I got away from him, because I would be trying to like heal with him hovering over me, like, what are you doing? You can't do it. I couldn't do it. It's impossible. So once I got like just a space away from him by myself, it of course took longer, but I'm so proud of that's why I can like laugh. It's a serious matter, but I can laugh because I spent so much time, like wallowing, wondering, waiting, who's going to save me? I have to take care of myself. And I'm so proud of who I am, because I would not have been this person without going through all of that and without my two children. So like now I don't have slumps and episodes, and I find the brighter side. I learned the balance, healthy, like being realistic about, what's going on. I tried that overly positive, everything's okay all the time. I'm learning as I go, but I'm so proud of who I am and who I'm becoming. And I wouldn't have become this person without going through that. Like it gave me the steering wheel, and it helped me take control of like my life and who I am. I had to get over, because it's like going through all of that and then being not left with, but like going through all of that and then having the responsibility of raising two children, for the most part by myself. It's like I could have become bitter about that, because it's like I didn't ask for any of this, and now it's like altered my life forever. Altered my day forever. I haven't slept in past like 8 o'clock in years. And that used to be my jam. Sleeping in used to be my thing. So it's like altered my life, but I just have to look at how much more initiative I take, how much more of a go-getter I am, how much more I like invest in myself and my passions and my creativity, because I want them to look at me. I want them to be proud of who I am. So I just take the good with the bad, and here we are. And it's not a bad place to be in. So that's my story.
That is, I mean, I know we were smiling and laughing together, because I know we've obviously talked about this before, but when we're sharing it now, it's just, so I would say it's like so many emotions. It's scary. It's encouraging. It's enlightening. It gives a new perspective. when I think about your story, I think about because domestic, like you didn't say the word domestic, but when you say you guys were fighting all the time, it sounds like it was domestic violence happening. So when I think about that, you're obviously not the only woman that has or has went through this. And so as other women might be listening that are in it now, or like, and they feel some type of way about, they want to get out, or they're stuck, or women that are just got out, or women that have been out, like how would you describe to them the day you said, as the women have encouraged you, when you get tired, you will know what to do? How did that moment look for you?
I'm going to say that because we ended up having children together, it took me a long time to like really stop believing this person is going to do better than what they're showing you. Because he's not like a terrible father, you know, he's grown in a lot of ways. I have to forgive him. You know, I held on to like not wanting to for a really long time. But I had to learn like forgiveness doesn't mean I move forward like I don't know who I'm talking to. So like that day looked like because I always, you know, like we've grown up together. You had your parents in the home, I had my parents in the home, so it was a lot of guilt with and then my kids love their father, especially my daughter. She's like, they have a real bond. So it took a while to just accept that she's not going to understand everything right now.
Yeah.
I even wrestle with whether or not I want her to fully understand, you know? But I just had to accept reality. I had to accept I can't fix this. I'm one of those, I can, you know, I want to help. I want to, you know, women are, so yeah, I'm one of those women, and I like projects.
Yeah.
So
I feel you.
I think that's some Virgo. I thought that was some Virgo stuff.
Some Virgo stuff. Woo!
I like fixing it.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I don't. Like they say, you know, we're clean, but it's like, no, the process of cleaning. I like that, fixing. But it's like I really learned in the, not the worst way, because it was a good lesson to learn, and I finally like accepted it. I can't change people into who I want them to be, even if what the improvements that I come up with I think would like help them. Where stuff they should want for themselves, like it would help the whole. I'm not in charge. I'm not responsible for anybody but myself. So it helped me to say, if I can't be responsible for anybody but myself, then that's the only person I need to be worried about besides my children. I need to focus on doing what's best for me, even if that means taking on more of the load, because I know what I'm dealing with.
So you had to get to the point, you had to realize the truth, and the truth was, I can't fix him. He's not going to get better as long as I'm in the picture. Because
God can change the heart of a king. You know, God can do anything.
Yeah.
But I had to accept I'm not God.
Yeah. That could go through many situations in life. When we think about, when we have to realize, wait a minute, let me get in my position and do what I'm supposed to do, and let God be God, let God do his thing. And I think when we try to do his job, it just don't work. And unfortunately, it's situations like this that you were in, and you have to seemingly like climb like figure out like your way to get out of it. I thank God that he delivered you from that. I know that you probably saw it one way, but God said, I'm gonna deliver you. But here, you have to, there's things that came with it, i.e. children. But I could tell you love your children. You really give them your all. And I could tell you have a new perspective of motherhood. You have a new perspective of life, period. I want to talk about the moment when you said domestic violence was a part of you guys' relationship. Did it ever go to the officials? Like, did you ever decide to press charges in any type of way?
I like I said, it was a lot of it was psychological. So I would call the police. Sometimes neighbors would, because it was just like that out of hand, loud, whatever. But it's like every time I did, they were kind of just like, well, you're gonna have to go through this process. I can't, the most I can do right now is this. You're gonna have to like go and fill out this paperwork, and it's gonna take this time. And I'm like, what y'all don't understand is I don't have time to go through a process, because I was just like afraid, like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this sets him off the edge that I try to do, this, that, and the third? I didn't know what to do. And they did it. I remember one time when the neighbors called, the police came out and they were acting as if they didn't know whether or not I was the aggressor. And I'm like showing them injuries, and I'm like, I'm here, I'm talking to you, I'm telling you this story, but because the neighbor called, like they're trying to do this like bad cop, quiet cop, because I don't know. So I just get frustrated, and I said something along the lines of like, y'all are probably doing this when you go home too, because there was just no reason for them to be as like careless and nonchalant when I'm literally crying, talking to you, and you're like, calm down, you're getting aggressive. What are you talking about? It was a lot. I didn't feel supported by the police, so I never pressed charges. I never got a restraining order. The process just seemed like, when I was in it every day, and he's like, if I leave, monitoring how long I left, what, like checking things to make you, it was just a lot. Like I said, he was like dedicated to psychologically, he had me convinced that there was nothing I could really do. And the way they treated me, I didn't feel like they would help the situation. So that's the reason I didn't press charges. But I would never recommend not doing that to someone in this situation. You should always do that.
Do you feel like you would have, like looking back, do you feel like you would have changed the way you addressed it, or would you have actually gone through the process? Like, I know you're encouraging women not to give up when there's like, keep going to the police, but would you have done the paperwork looking back now?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I would have. Because I think that would have sent, like, I was afraid of backlash, but like over time, as things progressed, when law enforcement did get involved, we ended up having a fight when I was pregnant with my son. And honestly, out of all the fights, it was like the most mild one. It was in a way, it was a mild fight compared to other things that I had been through. But the window was open, a neighbor heard and called the police. And because I was pregnant, he automatically went to jail, like the state, it was state matters because I was a pregnant woman. So it was like divine. But that showed me that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors involved with abuse. So like, people will get in your head and convince you of something that's not true. Like, they'll convince you they're not scared of the police, and if you do this, there'll be these repercussions. But depending on the person, I would go through with the paperwork, and it's like a paper trail like substantiates what you're saying. Like if you keep going through it but you don't ever do anything about it, it looks different. It looks like something else. I would always suggest going through with the paperwork. I think you can even get emergency protective orders.
Oh wow. Whew. Looking at in this position and season that you're in, and now recalling the story, did you ever feel, and if you did, I want you to share how you were able to get through this moment. Did you ever feel as though you were about to lose your life?
Oh yeah, yes. Several. They were like, it was just like there was that thought that lingered, and then there were like incidents, because like I said, it was psychological, so it's not just like beating me up, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like one night we were fighting, and then he put me in the car and he drove me somewhere that was very dark, pushing me toward a body of water. I have no idea what this is. Lake, pond, it ended up being a retention pond. Lake, river, I don't know what this is. I don't know where I am. It's dark. I cannot see. And I'm fighting. And he's not going to like really push me into the water. But, like Halloween Horror Nights, if you go through a haunted.
I'm doing that Halloween Horror Nights. So, I mean, you can explain it to me, because that's the reason why I don't go, but go ahead and explain.
Me either, but I don't think they can kill you. I don't, I don't think they could really, you get what I'm saying? But it's their job to like scare you to the point where you're invested in this thing that can't really kill you. You get what I'm saying?
So he tortured you.
Yes. Absolutely. That's what it was.
Wow.
And when I was pregnant, I would see so many stories about like pregnant women getting killed. Not even just women, pregnant women, or women getting killed by the father of their children. It was like not so many, but if I'm pregnant and I'm in an abusive situation, then seeing 3 to 4 stories like that is a lot. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, like I would keep seeing that, and I'm like, is this going to be me? Like, am I really? I was for a long time, I was worried.
Okay, so thank God you're able to tell your story. And I think you sharing with us how you became a mother is important, because it doesn't sound like you wanted kids or planned for kids at that time at all.
No.
So domestic violence, psychological abuse, emotional, and all of that. It doesn't sound like to me it was a willing interaction of having a child.
Absolutely not.
And you didn't. Go ahead, sis.
That was part of the survival. It became part of surviving, because if I'm like putting my foot down there, then that's going to turn into all these other arguments, accusations, nights like the ones I described. I think I told you before, there's like one night where if I were to like tell you the story, not even like giving details, just like this happened, then that, it was like I was making it up. Like I was pulling things out of it, like just trying to keep the story going because there was so much done. So like eventually, like the situation broke me psychologically to where I had to, I had to muster up so much fight to keep myself safe, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, is that worth it every time? Sometimes I might have to fight all night. Sometimes I might just have to get cussed out.
Fight all night?
All night. Like, yeah, like from, yes, all night till the sun comes up. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I was coerced.
Yes, into doing it to save your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because you felt like if you didn't do it, he would get even more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Like I am fine, you know, like I'm good. I went through a lot. It did make my transition into motherhood hard because like looking in your child's face and seeing that person's face more than your own.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was a lot. And I guess I'm just like not bragging, but I'm just like just so proud because that was a lot. And like where I am now with everything, I'm just so proud.
I am proud of you.
I appreciate that.
I am proud of you. And I know those people who are listening are proud of you for fleeing, getting out of there. I definitely know those children are a blessing. I just think about future. And when you just said, I don't even know if I'm going to tell them, like, I'm fighting between if I should eventually tell them, because one day they might ask, Mommy, why aren't you and Daddy together? What happened to you and Daddy?
And do you know, because she asked that now, do you know how hard it is for me to go, we're just friends. Your dad and I are friends, because no, we're not. But I just do my best to like forgive, keep it moving.
Yeah.
For you know, not forgive and let back in and repeat cycles, but like forgive and move forward.
What helped you to get here? Did you see a therapist? Did you what helped you to get to this part in your life where you can, because I know people probably listening or looking like, why she laughing? She ain't like, this is her coping mechanism. No, when Kristen first told me her story, my sister cried. She cried.
Yeah.
It was hard. Just to even say I was raped. It was hard. But it's such a blessing to see that time when we talked first to this time and to see the healing that has happened. I feel like that went through your I'm gonna get back to my question, but I feel like all that came through maybe a therapist, all that came through your drawing for sure, you painting, that's therapeutic in itself. So please share how you were able to get from there, even back then, just period, to where you are today.
I gave myself to myself. If you remember, I started off talking about how I was always looking for something outside of myself.
Yeah.
So you can imagine like a house.
Okay.
It was like some moments in life can feel like turning the light on for the first time, right? So if you can imagine being in a house full of things, you know, there's bookshelves, ornaments, things on the bookshelves and the tables, and you're just moving through it in the dark. So like once somebody turns the lights on, I see I've just been knocking things over. It's just like it's just chaos in here. So I got here by sitting down one room at a time in this house that I am, this temple that my body is, and like cleaning up, like working through, seeing if okay, I cheated. I didn't go see a therapist because my major was psychology.
Oh, see, okay, so please explain. Please talk to us about that.
I did it myself. I was like,
well, you talked to your mom too. Were you able to
yeah,
get to this with your mom, kind of, sort of?
I don't like giving her details. I don't like, because it hurts her so much. Like you said, she's mama bear, so like it hurts her so much for me to say like I went through these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And also because I was like, I had too much pride and I didn't want to call her or go back home. I was fighting against all that. I was trying to like start my life and acting like I could just get away from him somehow. Like I had so much guilt and other things around the situation.
Yeah.
I more so sought comfort from her. But as far as like working through it, once I kept hearing once you get tired, you'll know what to do, it made me like, like, no, I can't tell anybody. Nobody's going to understand. I have to figure out how to fix this myself. I have to figure out how I even got here in the first place. Seeing all these red flags, why did I choose this? I didn't choose to be abused, you know what I'm saying? But like,
right.
why was I attracted to this kind of person? Because he gave me signs. Not that he wanted to harm me, but that if he felt disrespected, if he felt, any kind of way, he was going to take matters into his own hands and handle it. So I don't know. So it just taught me how to like open my eyes and look at things for what they are. And you can't do anything with yourself or in your own life until you look at things for what they are. Look at yourself for who you are. Ask yourself, why am I really doing this? What is the root of this problem? So I just cleaned house.
So when we talk about you healing yourself, do you feel as though you would have benefited even the more talking to a therapist?
Yes, I do. Cause I've seen a therapist since maybe just one time.
Yeah.
And really that was because I was like, do I have ADHD? So I went to see a therapist once. But they are able to share with you things that you're like, they uncover your blind spot.
I understand.
I
understand. Yeah.
As honest as I want to be with myself, there could always be something that I'm missing. So I do think it might have like, I don't hate. I would take nothing away from the way I went through it.
Right.
Like my healing process.
Right.
It was a lot of like a long time and figuring things out for myself, but I absolutely advocate for therapy.
Right. So when therapists are definitely amazing. I know my husband and I see one now and it's extremely beneficial. I've seen one individually for myself and they're extremely helpful. So I definitely will recommend seeing a therapist too. Going back to when you said you didn't see a therapist and you had a lot of alone time. I know if we go back into your story even the more, you said you felt like God, like, I don't think you used the word betrayed, but kind of left you. Do you feel like he was a part of your healing process? Do you feel like do you feel the same about him now?
No. Yes, he was. No, I don't. A lot of my healing got me much deeper into my spirituality, like my relationship. I grew up a preacher's kid, so it's kind of like in my mind, God is like, like the principal, like
Yeah.
do the right thing, and if you don't, you're gonna get in trouble. I love all of you. But like this gave me to myself, and it kind of like gave me back to God, because he went from being like this distant authoritative figure to, oh wait, you're right there. You are, even when you're. I also laugh to stop crying.
It's okay. And it's okay if you cry. I mean, but you can laugh all you want to, sis, or you could cry. This is for you. This is for
Right.
you. It's okay.
So it was like I said, I resented God for a while because I felt like he didn't help me. But like the more I grew and the more I understood, the more I realized how much power and control I have. I was doing a lot of, like I said, like letting things happen to me, just waiting for things, wandering into things. And it was like, no, like if I could think, I'm sure there's a scripture that would help me articulate this point, but it's like, this is my life. My life is a product or the result of these decisions that I'm making. I can make better decisions. I can choose differently. I have control of my life. I don't have to just like wait for these things to come, wait for this stuff to happen. I can like make things happen. And that's what, and if I had to go through, I don't think I would have ever understood that if I didn't go through what I went through. God, like I said, I heard him clearly. He couldn't have clearly said, Kristen, this is your life. Take control. Do what you want. People tell children that all the time. So, and if I'm 22 when I'm going through this, people have been telling me that my whole life, but I didn't understand how necessary it was until I went through all of that. And I didn't understand my power until I like healed and then said, this is my life. I am going to have the life I want. I'm not going to say because this happened to me, I can't reach for my goals. I can't chase my dream. I can't enjoy my life. I just refuse to go for any of that. And that's how I really like found my power in God.
Yeah.
With God.
Yeah. So you allowed God, I guess the only word is to say, back in. It's not that you like pushed him out, but I think when we go through situations in life, we have a hard time understanding, God, where you at?
Yeah. I think I allowed him in a way he had never been before.
So it's like I see like problems in life allows us to open the door of our heart wider every time until we can say, God, you have it all.
Yes.
And I know we don't wish anything like this situation or anything that I've been through into anybody else's life. And sometimes I'd be like, now, well, I had to go through it. But we have to think about God and his ways. It's just like, I don't want to try to understand because I'm gonna make myself upset. I'm gonna confuse myself. And it's just like the things about God, some things you just can't understand. Yeah. And I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you that you were able to get to the point where you allowed God into those quiet moments and into each room in your entire being, into your temple, and he healed you one by one thing at a time. And I'm very happy that he did that for you.
Thank you.
And for sure, you're his daughter. And I think in those moments, God wants to show us that he's Father.
Yeah.
And he will do that for us. He will sacrifice everything like he did before, again and again and again for us. But seriously, I am very grateful for you being at this point that you are now. And I encourage you to continue to be on the journey because I think that knowing that he's still in the picture for life, because you have your children, I feel like there could be, not that there will be, but there could be triggering points. Like when you see him at birthday parties, when you see him here, when you see him there, it could be triggers. But I pray that one day you will get to the point where if you hear his name, think about the past, see his face, or see your children and you see him in them, that your heart doesn't miss a beat for the negative, that your heart is completely whole, and that you feel at peace about your experience in life. As we close, I want you to take a moment to kind of share with another woman that is probably thinking about getting into a relationship where she thinks she can change them, or she's in a domestic violence relationship, or she's just getting out of it. What would you say to encourage them, period?
I think as women, it's very easy to sacrifice yourself for other people. It's very easy to like be too understanding of people's like background and their story or their personal whatever, what they're going through. It's easy to like look at a situation and think you could like help it because you don't mean any harm. You only have good intentions. So you're looking at what you're doing as something positive. But I just think it would benefit us so much to pour all of that into ourselves, to put ourselves first, and not like sincerely putting yourself first, because sometimes that means being alone. Sometimes that means giving up on somebody else. Sometimes that means leaving people hanging. And it's like women like me, we do too much sacrificing for other people when really the most important person in your life has to be you, because you can't be who you need to be for the people you need to be it for if you're not taking care of yourself first.
I feel you.
So we have to I would just say make like loving yourself, healing, and putting yourself first, your greatest priority, even in motherhood. Not, you know what I mean.
I know, I feel you. As a mom, before we become moms, before we get into relationships, I think it's extremely important for us to know who we are.
Right.
We know who we are. We know what we accept. We know what our standards are. We have expectations, and I think that we are able to handle our emotions differently and in a mature way if we have a better understanding of who we are. For sure. What about, can you share something with the women who are in the situation?
I would say that advice that I would get, once you get tired, you'll know what to do. Used to hurt my feelings, but it was honest advice. Like that's what almost every woman I reached out to told me. Nobody had a plan of action for me because every situation is so different and unique that no one can have a plan of action for you. You really do. Like it's not like once you get tired of it, you'll figure it out. Like you're not tired yet and you want that. It's like once you get tired of it, I promise you'll find your strength, your mental strength, your emotional strength, and you'll figure out what to do. Not that you're like you'll find a way out. You will. When it's time to find a way out. It is like can be delicate, it can be tricky, but I just say like don't give up and settle for that. Like you can get out of that.
Yeah, and you deserve that. For sure. And you definitely deserve better. And it's coming to realize that is probably the hardest thing to realize. Like, I don't deserve this. I deserve to be treated with love and gentleness and care as God called me to be treated. So for sure. Definitely not one story that I want to hear often, but I am glad that you were able to share your story with us, because you're not the only one, unfortunately.
Right.
And thanks for your vulnerability. Thanks for your willingness. And again, I'm proud of you. And I know people listening are very proud of you too. So keep going, sis, and keep painting, and keep just exploring new, because as we get older, and you about to be 30, about to get into your 30s soon, you will learn. My journey of learning who I was again started at 30 and 31. So you will.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are gonna get on another journey, and just continue to show yourself grace.
Yes,
Show yourself grace. I love you, and again, thanks for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the OBM podcast. We look forward to you joining us next week to hear a story from a mom near you. So until we hear each other again, please be sure to take it easy, be blessed, and smile. Remember, you can enjoy life.